anymore.
It's fine. It's all good. Okay, let me see. My bad, everybody. I forgot to update the episode number and the date. It's fine. Game's being played. Nobody cares. What up, yo? Been too long. Welcome to the Pucknologists, everybody. You know, I was going to call it Sunday Fun Day. Couldn't think of a better name. Can you? I don't know. But instead I said, you know what? I'm going to keep the Pucknologists because even though I never liked the name, certainly built up an audience using it. So new names be damned. But we are going to make some changes. Look, here's how it's going to go, peeps. And let's bring in the new head in the of the class, Ian in the house.
Yeah. I am. Yeah, we threw Hockey Jerk out. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. But however, I am not the Hockey Jerk, but I am a jerk. So I feel like that's good enough.
It's good enough. This is how it's going to go, people. There's going to be some similarities to the old Pucknologists, still live, unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, of course. We also have another new addition to the crew, if you can see. Look at this. She's a little biter, I'll tell you. It's still going to be the weekly cast. Obviously, we're going to talk scotch about Sharks games that happened over the week. If anything noteworthy happened with the franchise off the ice, probably going to talk about that too. And if something significant happened in the NHL, we'll probably chew on that for a minute. But I've thrown out what we used to call the rundown, replaced it with an outline that is going to be much. What I'm saying is we're not going to be so structured. We're going to be a little more stream of consciousness, a little free-flowing. Might chew on something for 5 minutes, might go for 35. We don't know. And that's the fun part. We don't know.
That's it.
I just know that a lot of our format has been copied, so I'm just going to change this up. Ian, of course, as you can see, going to be slotting in for the majority of the season in place of Jerk. We might get Jerk to make a cameo, a special appearance, if you will.
I don't know if we can afford Jerk anymore.
I know, right? But if you're interested in knowing, like, where the fuck is Jerk? Well, Jerk isn't here anymore because a couple of you people in the chat pissed him off. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you guys made him cry, and I'm very protective of Jerk, and when I saw him crying, I'm like, no, that didn't happen. I had to step in and deal with you people. So here I am.
If you want to know the real story, all you have to do, Twitter is the open book direct line to Mr. Hockey Jerk. So hit him up there. But look, it's primarily scheduling conflicts and just a lack of time. We all go through it, and that's the way it's happening. I'm also going to toss a lot of the house cleaning and boilerplate shit, like the whole, like and subscribe, follow us on here.
I'm still going to find ways to wedge that in because that's like my favorite thing to like just naturally shove that in there, or unnaturally even sometimes. But
no, I mean, you do you.
Okay.
But my whole thing, it's like, it's YouTube. Like literally every video you watch is, like and subscribe, follow us on and I'm kind of like, what if we were the one podcast that did do that? So we'll see how it rolls. I think you're smart enough to know that we would appreciate it if you did all those things, but I'm not going to tell you to do it every episode is what I'm saying. While I can't think of any major platform that Teal Town USA is not already on, just know that we're most active on YouTube, Twitter, or X, or Elon's Wasteland, whatever your preferred reference is. And conversely to what Ian said, as for my personal social media accounts, I could not give a fuck if you follow me or not. I'm not here to build a brand. I'm not here to get clicks and likes and follows for my personal shit, but that's just me, Ian and Jerk and everybody else on TV. Do you. I'm just speaking for myself. I just don't give a fuck. Now, finally, if you do enjoy our little dog and pony show here, and would like to support it with a donation, we would so appreciate it if you use the Venmo option. We will, of course, accept any YouTube Super Chat donations, but Venmo doesn't take 35% like Google does. And we even get taxed on that, if you can believe that nonsense.
Which is nonsense. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Venmo obviously only available in the US. So if you are outside of the continental US, or I guess the US in general, Super Chat definitely is still appreciated using the currency of your choice.
Absolutely. But because transparency's sake, there are costs associated with putting on our little dog and pony show. And
yeah, we lost Jerk. I mean, this is what happens when you don't donate.
Right? Had you donated, Jerk would still be here. I'm just saying.
Now you're stuck with me. You guys fucked up.
But all those donations, they go into, the audio hosting and all the stuff we have to go through. But the best part of the donations keeps us commercial free, because I don't know about you. I hate it. I'm like 20 minutes into listening to a podcast that's just humming along. I'm really enjoying the content. And all of a sudden, and it goes into a 3-minute ad read, and I'm like, oh my God. And then you have to try to figure out, okay, how do I fast forward, but not too forward so I don't miss everything? And I get, for some people, that's the cost of business. We would prefer not to do ad reads. We've always been an organic channel here. Nobody carries our water, so your donations allow that. Now, all of that said, if somebody came along with a big bag of money and said, can you read this in the middle of your podcast? We'd probably say yes. So if you have a big bag of money, would like to make that offer,
bag of money, you want us to play Raid Shadow Legends, drop me a line.
We'll talk to you. Now, if you enjoy the podcast but can't or do not want to support it with a donation, hey, that's no problem too. All that we ask is, again, going back to what I said I wouldn't say earlier, like and subscribe. Have some good interaction with the comments. And if you share our content with some friends or something, that helps too. So please and thank you. And most importantly, we don't take any of this shit too seriously. We're going to make our sarcastic quips here and there, but there's never any malice behind it. We're rooting for laundry, people. So we're going to have some fun with it. Not everything we say is going to be 100% positive, but I can guarantee you this, it will be 100% honest. So,
truth.
That being said, let's, as the Sharks finally get on the board, yet are still down 3-1 with 12:30 left.
We're so back, baby.
We're so back. I didn't even catch who scored it.
I believe the chat says Macklin Celebrini scored.
Oh, was it so? Of course it was. Who wouldn't it be?
I was getting worried. Like, look at, man, it was 2 periods, 2 periods without a goal. I'm like, man, I don't know. This could be a bust. I don't know.
Hey, now. Couple comments real quick. Molasses, Hockey Jerk, and Ian are the same person. Confirmed. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true.
Save your goal. I primarily listen on iHeartRadio. Really? That is interesting. Marty T confirming. Yes, we have no Venmo in Canada. We cannot help you.
You can. You just hit the super chat. It's fine.
There you go. Yo Teal Town is the... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Brett, Yo Teal Town is the best. Hit like and subscribe. Not because you have to, but you are here already. See, that's all we're asking. That's
all you got to do.
This little 9-week-old little sucker is going to be the bane of my existence. She's driving me crazy over here. So let's get to some shit that happened before we dive into the Sharks. We're getting to some shit that happened along the NHL. First thing is, dude, I was like super bummed when I saw that stuff about Cat Friendly going bye-bye because the Washington and Capitals are like, nobody else should have them but us.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, right?
Oh,
like
with that,
I was disappointed for sure, but at the same time, like the people that were like screaming in their mentions about being sellouts, like, shut up, like you wouldn't have taken the bag.
Yeah, dude, I hate it when people scream about that. You know, it's, oh, you sell out and blah blah blah. Yeah, if somebody backed a Brinks truck up to your house, you show me the video of you going, nope, don't need it, I'm fine.
We're back.
So whatever. But evidently the Blues, first team to announce a team-specific cap friendly called Blues Friendly, and I went and checked it out. You know, it's the bare minimum of information, but better than nothing. But will other teams follow, you know? And we know that the NHL is a copycat league. It's the smart thing to do, though, which means probably the Blues are the only ones that are going to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the problem is you still have general managers like Steve Yzerman and Lou Lamoriello who are notoriously, like, they don't like when things get out any information at all. And as long as those guys, like Lou Lamoriello is the crypt keeper at this point, but, like, Steve Yzerman's still a pretty young guy in comparison to other general managers, obviously. So I don't know. It would be nice. Like, I think fans obviously like this information, and I think if it's coming from the team directly, I mean, like you said, it's gonna be a little bare bones or whatever. They're not gonna be like, hey, here's a calculator to buy out Logan Couture, or I don't know, pick a Blues player obviously in that situation. But I don't know. I mean, fans obviously care about this stuff, so I don't know why teams don't do it now.
All right, dude, watching the game. So evidently when you go to the game, the promotion now is, it used to be 4 in the net tacos you get. It has now been downgraded to 3 in the net tacos you get. So if that is not a tacit admission of, hey, fans, lower your expectations on the offense just to scotch, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's 3 goals is pretty. I mean, that's not a lot.
But it seems, isn't that like the winning
last year
formation? Like if you can score 3, like you win like 68% of the time.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that sounds right.
It's what I'm hearing. Many people are saying that is in fact the case. I don't know. Either way though, I like that. I like, you know what? Anything that gets the fans more stuff, I'm for it. For a smaller price. So
100%, yeah.
Here for that. Also in this off season, evidently Ryan Getzlaf has joined player safety, begging the question, is being a former Anaheim Duck a prerequisite to work there?
I think it's like any other NHL job. It's like you hire your buddies. Like look at the entire
NHL,
like upper management. Well, even just look. Okay, you could look at the NHL, but let's look at the San Jose Sharks. Like how many alumni are in prominent positions? Like that's just. I don't feel like it's any different, right? Like if you.
No, you're
player
right.
Safety's got to be the same thing, I'd imagine. So if you know a guy, which obviously Ryan Getzlaf would.
Well, I was gonna say who was the oh god, it starts with the G, right? What the guy who was there that everybody dumped on, who was a shit kicker.
What's his? I know I'm trying to
remember.
Starts
with a G, right?
What's his name? Chat, help me out. Oh my
God.
the
chat will be in here in a hot second.
Here, I know they're gonna be
it's
like,
a former.
What is the matter with you guys?
Former Duck, right?
You former Duck, yeah.
African American?
No,
really?
I don't think so.
I thought oh god,
wasn't
he in the movie Goon too?
Google.
Or am I conflating him with somebody else?
No, it's not George Laraque.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's who I was thinking was Laraque. But who's... you guys got to watch the
George
assist. Peros. That's... Oh, okay. Yeah. For some reason, I would totally conflated Laraque. For some really stupid reason. You guys got to watch the assist from Macklin on the second goal. Jumbo-esque. Oh, no. We're here. Yeah. Peros. All right. Thank you, Brisby. Yeah. So either way, somebody who has ties to the Ducks. Whatever. Expansion talks for whatever reason. Well, I mean, money. But they keep heating up. Houston, Atlanta leading the way. We know that the NHL is a copycat league. Are they really going to be the ones to go, no, we're going to lead the way into going from 32 teams, which makes so much mathematical sense, to no, fuck it. We're going 34, 36. Let's go. Everybody else come with us.
So the difference, I think the difference between the NHL and other leagues here is that the NHL has, a portion of their teams in Canada, where the NFL is in all American markets. Major League Baseball is in one Canadian market. The rest are American. And I think that
same with basketball, yes.
Same with, and basketball would be the same thing as well. So I think that's where the NHL thinks they have the room to grow more, because there's American markets that they are completely untapped in. And I know people are going to get mad at me because I'm Canadian. I'm supposed to come out here and, scream about Quebec City.
Why'd your video get all blurry?
I don't know. But the problem is, the problem with Quebec City, like, there's nowhere in Canada, and this is the issue between Canada and the States, and I've said this on many shows before, but the issue is that there's nowhere in Canada right now that you are not being serviced by an NHL team.
Well, then why are they always saying Quebec?
Well, because Quebec City has had an ownership group waiting. They built a building, which is a really nice building. It's an NHL-sized arena that is whose primary tenant is Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, or I guess it's the Quebec Maritime Hockey League now. So I mean, they've had ownership there. They have a building. They've done everything that would normally, the NHL's like, well, if you have this and this, we'll talk to you. The problem is that going to Canada, it's not going to increase the amount of the Canadian television deal, because again, everyone in Canada is already serviced by an NHL team. You can, if you have your sports package, there's an NHL team in your region, even if they're maybe not close to you. Like, again, if you're in Nova Scotia, you're probably watching a lot of Montreal Canadiens games. Big distance there wise, but you're serviced, right? Whereas the Atlanta market doesn't have a regional NHL team. And the NHL obviously wants to not only increase their regional deals, but they want to increase their national deal. And that's how you do it, unfortunately, because sports is the one thing right now, like, people talk about cord cutting and whatnot, but sports seems to be the one thing that's kind of immune to that. Yeah, there's obviously piracy for sports streams, but I think there's still a lot of people. Yeah. But I think the issue is, again, is they're trying to increase their rights deal, because that's basically been, the sports rights seems to be the one thing that actually still makes money on television.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know what happened to my camera. I'm not sure. I don't know why it's blurry.
It's weird. Stuff. You know what? It's like you're on the Kerry Lake, like what is it? The Vaseline. Oh, look at that, cleared right up.
Oh, there we go.
Anyway, like, okay, we're gonna give Atlanta another kick at the can. Like, when I hear expansion talks heating up, like Houston, okay, sure, but it's like, how is Arizona not at the top of the list? Provided they
no building.
Well, there you go. All right, answer the question. ESPN announced that it will use generative AI to offer incremental recap stories for Premier Lacrosse League in NWSL. What the fuck is NWSL?
National Women's Soccer League.
Okay. For me, I look at that and I go, okay, we're clearly testing waters for larger plans. The death of sports journalism sadly continues, even though they said, oh, well, there's going to be editors that are going to... The fact that we're even going to this part just sucks.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? Because we wanted the robots to do all the shit jobs we didn't want to do before they killed us all.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing, to be quite honest, there's definitely a beat writer or two where you kind of go, yeah, AI would probably do a better job. You don't want to see it, but you're kind of like, if we're being honest. Dude, RSNs. All right, so Dallas, Florida, Vegas, Anaheim, Seattle all announced what we call a concept of a plan, but some sort of a deal to stream games directly to fans with RSN the rankings and ratings circling the drain. Makes me wonder, how long does it take for a team based in to get on board, especially after the horrific deal that the Sharks signed back in the Stone Age, and that it's finally going to be over in 2028. Makes you move, because it's going to be pretty rare. I mean, this whole nighttime thing does seem singular, but let's be honest. I mean, Vegas is a bastion of money that can kind of try all sorts of things and see what sticks. I
think it's it's an interesting market, because I think you can do different things there, and you can kind of pilot different things, and I hate the Vegas Golden Knights. Don't get me wrong, but on the business side, they do a lot of smart shit.
Except for keeping their goalies happy.
Well, that's not the business side. That's still a hockey side, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm dying to see how this whole thing, and we'll get, it's just this whole idea of RSNs. I mean, obviously, you're in Canada, it's a whole different beast, but here, RSNs, it's like the Sharks started on a local channel that you could pick up with rabbit ears, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the same for a lot of teams, right? Like the one cool thing about living here when I was growing up was we had like the local Detroit channel, which had all the Red Wings games. So like there was like you had the Leafs, you had like it was crazy how many games we got to watch here. Just based on our geographic location, we got to watch a ton of hockey, just over the air. Obviously, RSNs came in and changed all that, but again, like with people cord cutting, national rights are still where the money's at. But with a lot of people cord cutting now, I think RSNs have taken a real beating from that.
Yeah, and it just gets worse. I mean, they keep Chicago, from what I understand, everything is like shut down at the end of this month when baseball season's over.
Yeah, that's my understanding too. Yeah.
You just go, what the hell? And
well, because I mean, you can like if you're gonna buy and you're gonna watch, like if you want to watch hockey, for example, just get the ESPN package and use the VPN, and then when the Sharks or when you want to watch the team in your region, put yourself in a different region.
And I'm with you on that, but that's the thing that just blows my mind is like, let's say you're one person that is kind of like, hey, I'm here for all the sports teams. I'm a Warriors guy. I'm a Sharks guy. I'm a Giants guy. But like, I'm all down for it. And so you pay that $8.99 or a month or whatever for the RSN access, and you're very content. Or you're the, someone like me who's like, go Sharks. I could give a shit about the Warriors. I don't care. And, and so like, I'm fine just getting Shark stuff. It's going to be really fun to see how these last few years play out, especially with the Athletics leaving. And if you consider it, the Sharks deal, from how I understand it, ends in 2028. When are the A's supposed to eventually open in Vegas? Last time I looked, 2028, maybe 27, but like rub a lamp, and even 28, I think might be a little lamp-ish. So we're going to...
I don't know. I mean, the Vegas, you can build all year round, though.
Oh, you can build all year round, but when you have an idiot trying to relocate the team, it doesn't even matter. Let's move on to the summer fan poll that the Athletic did, which I thought was awesome. And they ended up also asking some of these questions to players as well and people in the NHL. Either way, I got a huge kick out of a couple of the questions. First off, the tax thing, like, oh my God,
right.
Like 5 of the last 7 teams to win the cup are in no tax states. Does that need to be addressed? And the kind of overarching theme was no, for now. Let's see how it plays out for the next 7 years. And if it's also 5 of the next 7, then maybe we need to look at it.
Yeah, but isn't it like part of it just like building good teams too? Like,
well, but that's the whole thing is like Florida is one of the no tax. Well, Florida, they're a no tax team. They just won the cup. And I'm like, did you all remember Florida 10 years ago?
Yeah, no, but that's the thing, right? Like, I know, and I understand, like,
they were a joke.
It's team construction too, right? But I just
right?
Like, I think those teams were just like built well, but I don't think they're built so well that they're, because they have an advantage wise, right? Like they're paying Sergei Bobrovsky $10 million fucking dollars, which is batshit crazy. Like, even though he won a Stanley Cup, and even though like I probably would have given him the Vezina, I still think it's batshit fucking crazy. Or the Conn Smythe, like, it's still, to me, $10 million for a goalie is still batshit crazy.
Dude, for me, anything over 6.5. But Whatevs. The other thing, should the NHL tweak LTIR rules? Fans overwhelmingly 83% saying yes, and even the players, if I remember correctly, they were like over 50% on that going. Now, I think the fans and the players for different reasons.
Yeah.
But it's still that case of like, maybe we need to take a look at it.
It's a tricky thing to deal with because I think that obviously it's the GMs, you have to sign off on it. And I just don't think there's any appetite there to do it, right? Because I think the one thing is too, is like people would want change until like a guy on, it doesn't even have to be on Vegas, but we'll just use Vegas for an example because they're the criminal. But like, could you imagine a situation where Jack Eichel is healthy and then can't play in the playoffs because of the cap? Like, people would be screaming bloody murder. The media would be screaming like you know what I mean? Like, everyone wants to fix things until the consequences happen, right? And then it's like, oh, what have we done?
Do we want to put some scratch on if Evander Kane is healthy come game one of the playoffs?
Oh, I think he'll be healthy probably by the end of I don't remember what the injury is, but I feel like, I mean, he could be, right? I don't know.
The other really funny
that's it's so far away that I feel like regardless of what it is, like with the way medicine has come along, like it wouldn't surprise me to see him be healthy before the season ends, to be honest.
All right. The other really great question, which I feel needs the most amount of context, was, would you support further NHL expansion, as we were talking about earlier? And 64% said no, 32 teams is enough. And to me, my question, of course, is how many of those 64% live in a market that has a hockey team?
Yeah, you know what? Like, here's the thing for me, right? Like, if you talk about like adding teams or expanding the playoffs or anything, like the question I always come back to is like, on the surface, I'm like, ooh, extend the playoffs, that's gross. But then the question I always come back to, but would you watch? And the answer is, of course, I'd fucking watch. So,
but no, it's the idea. No? But no, we're talking expansion.
No, I know, but if you gotta figure.
You're gonna have to. Yeah, you have to extend the playoffs. But to me, it's just that whole idea of, okay, we've asked all these fans, do you support expansion? Again, it's the idea of, okay, well, how many of the people that you asked live in a market where
they already have a team? So
exactly, that only has a team versus what, if they only asked people that lived in, Nebraska, South Dakota, Houston, and what Atlanta.
But it's not even that. It's like I live 3,000 miles away from San Jose, but I'm a Sharks fan. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even an issue of like, oh, do I locally have a team? It's just that these people are obviously invested enough that they probably already have a team that they cheer for, regardless of if they're in the Atlanta area or not.
I'd still like to know just how many of those people were like within, say, 150 miles of an actual market.
So who lives in like New England?
Well, I mean,
yeah, where they're serviced by like all the teams.
Well, I was gonna say, they're serviced by so
seaboard of the United States is like
versus like Nebraska or what,
right.
Some Lincoln, Nebraska, or bumfuck Idaho or whatever. Like, we could use a team up here, but anyway, Brody Brazil, his time has evidently come to an end at NBCS California. We actually did a whole show on this, but when we did it, they had not announced a replacement. Shalana hung him up too. Both of them very early supporters of the pod, very first guests on this, so we can't thank them enough. But the thing that really just kind of got me is what happened?
Molasses just put in the chat. Season's over for Vegas.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Season's over.
Oh yep, and it's in the bag. Yeah, 4-2, game over.
We're so back, baby.
Yeah, We're so back. Anyway, about a week or so ago, somebody by the name of Alan Hashida has been announced as the new pre-post game host. The PR statement sounds like a Brody announcement. It's like, quote, skilled professional, check. Passion for hockey, check. Happens to be a lifelong Sharks fan, check. Deep roots to Northern California, check. So
makes less money than Brody Brazil, check.
That's the one. Yeah, I can only assume that Alan must be working for peanuts. And hey, if that's the way you get the gig, so
I mean,
be
that's
it.
how you get started, right? Like, I mean,
sure.
I feel bad for Brody. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, Brody, longtime supporter of what we do, and I've always been, grateful for that. I've been fortunate enough to talk to Brody on this show on a couple of occasions. Super nice guy. I think he'll land on his feet because I think he's good at what he does. I think he's, I think his YouTube stuff is really taken off too. So I think he's going to be fine either way. But I'll give the new guy a chance. The thing with me is that I really don't give a shit about intermission anymore. Pre-post, I don't care. You know why people used to watch intermission? Pre-Twitter? Because that's when you found out all the cool shit.
That's true.
Right? And now it's like, I people talk now about like, oh, it's so, empty calorie pre. Like, what are they going to tell you that you haven't read on Twitter 40 minutes ago?
What do, fans like us, everybody's different, but fans like us, what do you use those intermission spots for? It's usually to tweet about what you just saw, right?
Yeah.
You're not there to see what's going on. I'm going to be real interested to see what other changes happen with pre and post. Obviously, they've already announced that there's going to be some new faces that are going to be involved, whether it's Jamal Mayers or a little bit more Jason Demers, Alex Stalock, Dan Boyle. It's going to be something to see, but yeah, I just go back to the whole thing of like, I don't understand how you let Brody go when he's literally all of those heads that are over there, whether it's Laura Britt or Carlos. I can't remember the guy's last name. I just know that he's super duper annoying to listen to. But none of those guys built their own home studio and built their own YouTube channel. Go look at the numbers. Brody's channel has more subs than the San Jose Sharks channel. That says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, sports media, unfortunately, has been a bloodbath for the last 5 years, and I don't think it's changing anytime soon, unfortunately. But, again, I feel bad for Brody. I wish him well, but I'm confident he's going to land on his feet. As for Shalana, again, same thing. I don't know what she's planning to do next, but Shalana is another person who, had nothing but time for us. And I wish her well doing whatever her next thing is going to be.
Absolutely. In a new segment that we're going to just do this one time, we're going to call Duh.
New segment, one time.
Officially announced that Remenda and Hahn are back together full time. I mean, who thought that wasn't happening after Hedekin's departure? So again, Hannon, Jamal Mayers, Demers, Stalock, they're all going to alternate in this season as Ruzanowski's color guy. Remenda.
I'm looking forward to Alex Stalock. I think Alex Stalock's a character. I'm fascinated. You know what?
Because he's a big friend of Johnny Scott.
Not even that though, but like I find like when you want people to break shit down, make a goalie do it. They're so much better.
Fuck yeah. Oh dude, there might be. You know what it is? I kind of say the same thing about pitchers in baseball. Like they kind of, pull the curtain a little wider, than most people would. So I'm down with that.
Like I know like in the playoffs last year in the first round, I think they had Jake Allen on the broadcast up here. And I remember he explained, I don't remember what he explained, but the way he explained it, like it was just amazing. I wish I had the clip because like, it was just like, he changed the complete way I looked at like some goalie positioning. And he made it like so easy. So I'm hoping Staylock can do that.
Could you just imagine what it would be like if Bennington ever got that gig?
I think Jordan Bennington would do like a show like ours, and you try and put us out of business. I don't think he'd say nice things.
See, I feel like he would get fired inside of like 2 shows. But anyway.
Yeah, Noodles too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The other thing, John Scott talking about that leak that he was coming to San Jose on his Dropping the Gloves podcast. All he really said was, I can't say anything yet, but keep an eye out for me in San Jose. We'll see how it goes. I guess it went.
Yeah. Lou Lamoriello probably said, hey, you can't leak shit, even if it has nothing to do with my team.
Well, the whole thing
you're
is,
done.
He said, keep an eye out. I did. You're hard to miss. I didn't see you.
Yeah, 6'6" guy.
Dude. In the off season, an interview with a friend of the show, Shang, said Doug Wilson admitted that not signing Pavelski was a mistake, which I'm sure is easy to do 5 years after the fact. My only thing was I was kind of bummed that the entire article was hyper focused on what happened with Pavs. I'd love to have seen Shang use that chance to fight. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna have to like see if I can poke and prod some people and say, hey, is there any way you can get us like some time with Doug Wilson? Because I would love to know if he would like acknowledge the fact that maybe he fell in love with some players for way too long, signed contracts that were too much term, fooled himself into thinking the window was open for longer than it was. Because, I mean, I would love to hear his take on LeBanc today after the whole, $1 million for that season to take that friendly deal because we're trying to keep the window open, and then giving him 4 years at almost $5 million. And when that deal's over, the best he can do is a PTO in Jersey, probably because his boy Timo like said, hey, get my friend in here, would you?
Yeah, I wonder, like, with Shang, not like, and this isn't against Shang. I'm surprised you got anything out of Doug Wilson, because Doug Wilson's just notorious for like saying a lot of words but not actually saying anything.
Dude, he's so evasive. He's so he should have went into politics.
He really should have, because like that was the one thing, like the one thing that I do like about like Mike Greer in this era is like he's very clear, and he doesn't, like, sometimes obviously he's going to say things that are you expect a GM to say, like he's obviously not going to throw people under the bus or whatever, but like it's a refreshing change from Doug Wilson, who would talk for 30 minutes and have said nothing in that 30 minutes of any substance.
To be fair, I've been able to do that myself. Talk for 30 minutes, say nothing.
Well, I mean, we've made a career out of it. I don't know if this is a career. We made a hobby out of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a career.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a career. It's a hobby.
Next on the list, I've yet to confirm, but there are some people posting on the Soch that interactions with players inside of Sharks ice, during practice and everything, are now limited. So, like, no more meeting the players after practice, which is a bigger deal. When there'd be the autograph hounds and whatnot, and actual real fans that just wanted to say hi and maybe get a picture. There could be several reasons, players not liking the attention, the team not wanting players exposed to whatever the fans may have that day, like COVID. It could be because 4 or 5 assholes ruined it because they brought, 18 things to be signed by 2 different guys.
Yeah.
That, end up on eBay about a half an hour later. And I'm actually shocked that more athletes don't go the Brett Burns route when, if a fan asks them to sign something, they go, absolutely, what's your name? To this, but, is your name eBay winner? Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I think, the autographed hounds that's been a problem for a long time, the eBay autograph hounds. I think it sucks, right? I mean, I can't speak to it because I'm not local, obviously, so it's not something that I've ever been able to do. But I think if it kind of sucks to limit fan interaction, but it always is with anything. It's always a few bad apples ruining it for everything else. I think also too, they probably want, like, this is a really young team this year, and they probably want those
keep
kids to
them
be able to
insulated.
focus a little more.
Yeah.
Well, insulated and, focused, I think, as well.
Solid point. Fanatics jerseys dropped this weekend. Oh my God. Just, I'm sorry. It's just the amount of stupid that is in the ether is mind-boggling. Or the whiny people, so when Adidas came in 2017, people bitched, cried, and moaned about what are these little things in the shoulders, these dimples? What the fuck is that? These are stupid. And now we are here today, and it's, what happened to I can't believe they got rid of the dimples. They were awesome. And it's just, oh,
That's the same with like all people though, right? Like I remember once upon a time, Kachina jerseys were the ugliest jerseys in the league.
Dude, abso-fucking-lutely.
And now it's like, oh, they went to Utah and they lost to Kachina, the best jersey in the league. Like, I don't know, things cycle. People like different things at different times.
Yeah, everything comes back. Well, dude, do you understand how many times bell bottoms have like gone, started and gone away and come back, or skinny jeans have left and then come back and blah, blah. Oh my God. But the thing that just gets me about this, it's like there were all these people that were bitching that you couldn't get the same jersey that the players wore, like at retail. You couldn't go and order them. Haven't been able to do that since Reebok took over. And then Fanatics says, and dude, show me anybody who was dumped on Fanatics more than me.
Sure.
Right. But Fanatics finally makes them available, and it's at the same price point, and people are going, that much? Oh, I'm not buying that. And it's just like, who says you have to?
No.
Yeah,
like, don't get me wrong. I think like
no one's forcing you to buy a fucking Rolex.
That's true.
But it's there if you want it.
It's crazy to me. It is crazy to me though that like an authentic, like the real deal is $500. Like that seems crazy to me. I don't obviously have that kind of disposable income to throw on a sweater. I'll happily stick with my premium whatever.
Sure.
The tier down. It is crazy to me, but like at the same time, you're right. Like you don't have to buy it.
Yeah, some of the
it is crazy that piece of fabric.
Yeah, I don't understand the complaints about the price because it's just like, dude, like these are the same price points that Adidas and Reebok had, and the amount of people that here's the most staggering part: the amount of people that bought quote unquote authentic Adidas in a store, believing that they were the same things that the same things that the players, the jerseys were being worn on the ice.
Right.
Holy crap. And they still believe, some of them still believe that. And you know what? It's like, don't feel bad. I fell for that during the Reebok area. I saw the neon collar and I went, oh, it's neon. That must be special. That's what they wear. And nope, wasn't.
Yeah. To me, like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, to each their own, like,
again,
if that's the way you want to spend your money, who am I to tell you not to? But man,
who's taking you off to the side of the building with a gun saying, you buy this?
You buy this MIC right now. You need to buy this $500 right now, or else you're not a real fan.
All right. So I think by this time, it's probably good that anybody who's going to join us following the game, they're in the car, they're on the way home. Vegas opens tonight in San Jose with the Sharks. 9,000 tickets sold. I don't know that those were all used. Evidently, the stream was geo-locked because we're trying to grow the game.
It's an NBC issue.
I know, but it's still
my understanding is that this is what I was told, is that Sharks, because NBC owns the regional rights to Sharks games, they had to get NBCS's permission to stream the game. And in order to do it, they probably said, well, we have to follow the same rules that we would do. So they made it a regional game. They blacked it out for people outside the region.
Goes back to what we talked about like half an hour ago. I can't wait for these RSNs to die. I mean, what all the fans know that, like, what you just said, the average fan doesn't know that. What they know is that they can't watch the game that they want to watch. So
100%. No, I agree. It's stupid.
But the best part of the game tonight, I mean, it was a 4-2 loss, but when was the last time you, my friend, watched a game and saw a 10-game misconduct called?
Yeah.
Dude, that was all. It was like, yep, still preseason, everybody. 10
Yeah, Giovanni Smith.
Oh, that was awesome. So I mean, dude, I
was so excited too because I took a quick glance at who was playing tonight and I saw Smith and I thought it was gonna be Will Smith and it was like Giovanni and I was so disappointed.
Dude, absolutely. I gotta say, you know, it happened with Crosby, it happened with McDavid, it happened with Bedard. It's happening now, dude. I'm so tired of Celebrini. I have Celebrini fatigue. Like, I'm excited. I want to see Chief here. Like, I hope he does amazingly well. I hope he is the next Crosby, the next McDavid in terms of points and impact on his franchise. But Jesus Christ, you know, when every other tweet is just Celebrini. Like,
I mean, look we should enjoy this because this is the most attention the Sharks are going to get ever.
But I am hitting a little bit of a fatigue. Maybe I just need to get off social media.
And that could be that could be good. I mean, this is the most that anyone's going to care about San Jose for like ever, unless we find a silver shiny thing. In June or July at this rate.
From watching tonight, were you able to like fly that pirate flag and see?
Oh yeah. I just turned on I just watched through my VPN.
So, I mean, anything jump out at you for tonight? I mean, obviously they did the goalie shift halfway through. I mean,
yeah, that was expected.
Yeah.
And Georgi Romanov gave up the most Georgi Romanov goal. I thought like it was fine, right? Like the thing with the preseason games are that, especially these early ones, like these really early ones, like the veterans aren't getting on a plane, flying to play a game, and then flying home that same day, right? So they ain't going. But you have to bring somebody. So like if you look at that Vegas roster, it was pretty crap.
Yeah, no Eichel, no Hurdle, no. But
right, yeah. I think like Keegan Colasar and who they had, Tanner Pearson, like those are your big NHL players. So they come and they're gonna play really hard, but they don't have the skill to really do anything. And then the Sharks are gonna ice a pretty decent lineup because they're at home and the veterans don't have to get on a plane and play a game and then get on a plane again. So they're gonna show up and play, but they're not really playing. It's the first game of the preseason. But I thought, like I like Macklin Celebrini. I know you're really fatigued with him, but I thought like I liked everything I saw from him on the ice. He was just walking guys.
Oh, I love watching him play. I'm just tired of every other tweet saying Celebrini. It's like, let's just watch him.
Let's just watch him and go. I mean, like there was, it's fine, but it's like the first game of the preseason. I enjoy watching these things, but I hate trying to analyze them because I don't think there's anything worth analyzing. Like we always do like a show after like the prospect scrimmage, and it's like, yeah, but it's a pure on pure game. Like you always kind of have to like make sure that no matter what you say, like you have to be sure to point out that this is the first game of the preseason and no one really gives a shit.
Yep. Because there was definitely a couple guys that during that prospect scrimmage, I remember really liking what I saw from Polkamp. Nobody's talking about that guy today.
No.
But the one name that I do seem to hear a lot of over the last week or so is Cagnoni. And I'm like, okay, little guy, Boyle-esque. Let's see what he can do.
Well, so on him, it sounds like he's going to be on the Barracuda this year. It's
start.
I think it was Shang reported that they're plan right now because he's a guy who could go back to junior and play his overage year.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't sound like that's the plan. It looks like he's going to be playing pro hockey, and I think that's the best thing for him. He had a really good year in the Western Hockey League last year. Now it's time to start getting him to play with men and get used to that game. So I'm happy that the Sharks are gonna start him on the Barracuda. It sounds like, which is exactly where he should be.
And see, that's the whole thing is there's, celebrating, Mac, Mac, Mac,
Mhm.
Mac, 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 Mac. And a slightly lesser extent, Will Smith,
Yeah,
I'm getting jiggy with it. Oh, it's fantastic. I want to dive in a bit more on, the lower guys, the Musties, the Cagnonis, some of
yeah.
these players that like, oh, this is the guy that
Well, I
I
think
want to see
the
impress
thing,
in camp.
yeah, but I think the thing is you got to remember, like, this is also like the Sharks are trying to sell tickets, right?
Sure,
And you're
absolutely.
not selling like Quentin Musty might get a couple of games, but he's not long for this team, and he can't play for the Barracuda. He's going back to junior. So obviously, you want to talk about the guys are going to sell the tickets, and that this year it's Macklin Celebrini.
Oh, without a doubt. But I'm also interested to see what some of the additions are going to do.
Sure.
It's like, um, so, well, here. First off, the Athletic ranks the Sharks pipeline at 2. There's other people
Mhm.
that put it at 1. Although the really funny thing is that the Athletic ranked the Sharks rebuild at 4 behind Chicago, Ottawa, and Anaheim. And I was like, really? Behind Ottawa? Are they including the new building? Is that why they're? Uh,
Ottawa's an interesting one. Yeah, Ottawa's that's an interesting one to me. To be like Chicago, I think the thing with Chicago is, and it depends on how you define prospect, right? Because I would still say, like, based on like age group, I still probably think Chicago has more going on than we do, just because they've got guys that have already made the jump and they're already playing NHL games,
mhm.
right? Um, Anaheim, again, same thing, right? They've got a bunch of guys that are in that younger age group, but they've all made the jump and they're playing NHL games. Your Mason McCavishes, you know what I
But
mean?
aren't they like, like desperately trying to like say, hey, Zegras, it's not so bad here, bro.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like the Trevor Zegras thing fascinates me.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
I'm really curious to see what Verbeek's gonna do there. So I think that's probably, again, it depends on, like,
Dude,
I
how
haven't
much?
read the rankings, but I'd have to go through and see like how what the criteria is to see how I agree. But Ottawa still doesn't make any sense to me,
Mm,
just because I mean, I don't know, they've been rebuilding forever, so
yeah.
maybe it does.
But, dude, I mean, you think about the amount of space that the Sharks still have. Like, could you imagine them getting Zegras?
Crazy.
Dude, that would be awesome.
I just don't think he'd be a Mike Greer guy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We're getting some comments in from Pishelka. It says,
Mhm.
Tyler Toffoli on Celebrini. Quote, you saw tonight the things that he can do, not only score goals and the pass that he made to me, but I thought he did a really good job of staying low in the D zone and being really. So, I mean, yeah, you want to crown him? Fucking crown him.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing with like Celebrini, right? This is why I'm really excited for a guy like Celebrini. Um, and I think he's like the perfect guy for the Sharks to have kind of that centerpiece of this rebuild now, is because his game, he has such a good 200-foot game, and a lot of kids his age have an offensive game. Trevor Zegras.
Offensive as in scoring, not like,
Right, yeah, yeah,
obnoxious.
yeah. Yeah, he's not coming up and flipping the birds at everybody. Um, but like, you know what I mean? Like usually like a lot of like these kids, they have a really good offensive game where they can score a lot of goals, but they can't do, like, Connor Bedard, amazing player, can score a ton of goals. Not the greatest player defensively. Whereas Macklin Celebrini has the full 200-foot game. He can score, and I think he's gonna score a lot of goals, but I think he's gonna be just as, when it's all said and done, they're gonna talk about him, and one of the comparables that a lot of people use for him is Jonathan Toews. Yeah,
Mhm.
Jonathan Toews scores goals, but he also shut guys down. You know, so
I
if that's what we get from Celebrini, I mean, that's not a bad thing to have.
Well, and and I said I was like starting to go through Celebrini fatigue because it's
Mhm.
like all we hear is this. And you know what? I'm more than fine to hear about him as much as I heard about Crosby. so much if Celebrini has the same amount of success.
Yeah.
He
Yeah. I mean, look,
if he
if
brings like 3-4 cups to San
if we
Jose,
can,
sure.
we're overdue.
I'm saying. So anyway, the Athletic ranked the Sharks rebuild at 4. Now, to be fair, the Athletic also went out on a limb to say that San Jose won't be as bad as last season.
Can I also say something about the Sharks rebuild?
Sure.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. It's not over.
Oh, not even close. Well, and see, that's the thing, is one of the Athletic articles said that they believe, I don't know if this is Corey Pronman, I think, said there's still like another 5 years away. And I was like, 5? I don't know that it's 5. Like maybe 3. I'll give you 3. 5, I don't think I'm going to give you 5 on that. Especially if Askarov is, like the next coming of Patrick Waugh and Dominic Hasek.
Yeah, I mean Dominic Hasek's such a good comparable too, because I find like he's more of a scrambly, athletic goalie. Yeah, it isn't over. I think there's going to be there's still going to be some more pain. And honestly, like I look at the Sharks prospect pool, I think there's a lot of good there. I don't want to be like, like Mr. Sourpuss on the show, but like that blue line prospect wise is still pretty sus.
Yeah. I mean, you got Dickinson and then
Shakir, Cagnoni. And Cagnoni, I mean, like I like Cagnoni a lot, but he's a small dude, and it's hard to play defense as a small dude in this league.
Yeah. There's still some pieces there that, Greer has his work cut out for him to try to bring in just like he did for the forward group. I mean, you saw bringing it to Foley. There's definitely some pieces he's brought in, but right now I think we can all agree, especially with the way he was able to acquire Askarov or Askarov or whatever you want to say his name is. But the fact that they brought in the all-time biggest, goaltending prospect over the last decade, that Greer was able to make that acquisition right now. I think
he's up there. Like I don't. We think have to be
in Greer we trust.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if he's like the be all and end all, right? Like if you would give me
he's certainly being talked about it like.
Yeah, but I still think like I would still like, I think if you're looking for like I still think Jesper Wallsted's better.
Paul equating him to Flower.
I mean, I hope not, because like
Flower did win a cup.
But like Marc-Andre Fleury, he's such an interesting guy, Marc-Andre Fleury, right? Because I think he's gonna go in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
And I think that everyone likes Marc-Andre Fleury, but like there was stretches where he was just fucking brutal.
True.
Right? Like I don't think I think 2017 when the Penguins repeated, like Marc-Andre Fleury came in and he did a really admirable job playing until Matt Murray came back. But like let's not forget that Matt Murray won those Stanley Cups. It wasn't Marc-Andre Fleury.
True. I don't know. I still feel like that.
Yeah, Ascarov's going to be elite. Like I'm not trying to poo-poo Ascarov. I'm just saying like I just don't. I still think like there are better goalie prospects out there like Jesper Wallstedt, who I think is better, and that's not a problem. Like I still think Askarov is very, very good. I think he's elite. I think he's going to be the promise. Like he's going to be the goalie that is. I think we're going to get a really good goalie from this guy who's going to be here a long time and be the franchise guy. But I just don't think he's the be all end all.
All right, and that's fair. Yeah, totally fair. What's also going to be really fun to watch is how much better San Jose does, like their improvement from last season through this coming season, and how much worse Vegas does. Because, dude, that trade protection on the pick with, was that with Hurdle? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you put trade protection on that pick? Like, you think, and dude, that's a very subtle. It's like a subtweet. It's like very like, yeah, we think you're gonna suck, bro. They put that in that we're horrible, and we think there's a chance that you might be worse. So we're going to put this protection in. Dude, I'm sorry. That's a low end kind of like, suck this one, you know.
We're
And,
gonna do division ranking, like division preview next week.
uh, maybe.
Okay.
Either way,
So I don't want to get like, I don't want to like,
get over the
because on
skis. I get
Vegas,
that.
Vegas is going to be interesting. I don't want to go like too far deep into it if we're going to just turn around and repeat it all next week. But Vegas is interesting because I think they'll be fine if they're healthy. But when are they healthy?
Exactly. So, anyway, we're basically at the top of the hour. Only wanted to go to an hour. And so we are going to have a preview. Divisional preview, Sharks preview, something of the like is going to be happening over the course of the next couple of weeks. Finally, though, I believe, was it earlier today or yesterday? It was a very busy weekend for me, but the quote unquote leadership group was announced for the Sharks,
Yes.
and it's Couture still technically wearing the C, about to have his second child, he announced also. What we have learned is Ferraro is going to be wearing an A for all 82 games, while Toffoli and Goodrow will be rocking an A at home, while Granlund and Cunnin will have A's on the road. For me, I have to say, I hate this. So like I remember this a few years back where it was like, what was it? It was like Burns, Carlson, and what, Ferraro and somebody else. Like I don't know. It just three, the Holy Trinity. That's what you have. I think it should be Granlund. I think, okay, I'm going to say Ferraro just because of his time with the team and everything like that. Granlund, Ferraro, and then you choose. I don't know. You probably Toffoli because he's got the seniority.
Sure.
But I don't know. But let's finish with this because this.
But, I mean, find somebody that loves you the way that Mike Greer loves Luke Cunnin.
Yeah.
If I have any advice for you, like that's find someone who loves you as much as Mike Greer loves Luke Cunnin, man.
Well, it's like Wilson loved Marlowe and Thornton.
Yeah.
And unfortunately did not love Pavelski.
Nope.
Have we already seen his last NHL game?
I mean, I never say never, obviously, because I think I said earlier how, like, we were talking about Evander Kane. I said how, with the advancements in medical science, that guys come back from crazy shit that they shouldn't be able to come back from ever, and they manage to do it now. So I don't want to say never, but it's really concerning at this point. Like, by all accounts, Couture hasn't skated since he skated in his last game. Like, there was no skating in the summer.
When was that game?
Oh, back in
January,
February. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a
long time to.
It's 9 fucking months, man.
Yeah. So and like again, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on this podcast, but I think the thing is like you don't want to. I think they want to do right by Couture, which is why they left the C on him and stuff like that. And I think obviously, I can give you a million reasons why he's not. I can give you a few million reasons why he's not going to retire. Yeah, I mean, it's possible at this point, right? Like you just see, unfortunately, we've seen this song and dance before, right? Where it's like, oh, this guy, always trying to come back. Like, you look at Colorado. When's the last time Gabriel Landeskog skated?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and you don't want it to be that way, but it's a hard road for Couture, I think, with that kind of injury to get back up to NHL speed, and it sucks. Because again, this is the man's livelihood, and you never want to see somebody lose that. And Couture is not my favorite player, but I don't want you don't want to see someone's career cut like this.
Yeah.
Like this is a shitty. Like, you want to go out on your own terms, and I think to not go out on your own terms is really shitty. So I hope Couture can, start skating again. I hope there's a path for him to come back and finish his career on his own terms, man. But I wouldn't be putting money on it right now.
Not at all. And Isn't Granlund on his final year this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you're gonna give him an A on the, well, okay, fine, whatever. And we'll get into that in the next week or so when we do our preview. We'll talk about the players that are coming in and go, who has gone out. I did not have Pittsburgh being the kind of destination for Sharks PTOs, but here we are. Like, did Knyzhov and LeBanc take the same flight? We don't know. But Timo could be over there going, "Hey man, bring him in. Bring him in."
You know what? I'm happy that Kevin LeBanc got a PT. Like, this is what I kind of thought would happen to
I just
Kevin
can't believe
LeBanc.
how late it happened.
It's hard though, because like, again, this is a guy who, I mean, how many coaches did he end up in the doghouse with? 3?
Oh, I mean, it was
Peter DeBoer, Bob Uecker, David Quinn.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he didn't get enough time with Wasowski.
No.
He might have found a doghouse with him too. But I mean, yeah, dude, DeBoer, how many years was Bugner here? Was it 2 or 3?
I think 2, like a season and a half.
Right? Quinn's only here for a year. I mean, it was very quick.
Yeah.
It was, well, I mean, you think about it. It was basically over the course of that 4-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the end of that $1 million deal, right? Is you think about it. The encore of the $1 million deal was him getting 4 assists in that game, of which we do not mention.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
I think there's I think there's talent there, but I still think if you can't, and say what you want about the previous run of coaches, not my favorite group of guys either to coach this team, but 3 coaches, I think you got to look in the mirror.
Absolutely. In the fact that the best you could do was a PTO.
No, that didn't surprise me. I think guys of that ilk, that's pretty much, I mean, there's a finite number of jobs in the NHL, right? That's kind of what I expected for him to be, is like he was going to, probably be a late PTO guy who's going to sign for league minimum and hopes to God that he either ends up on a team where, they think that they can fix him and he can provide some offense on the cheap, where, which he could potentially do on the New Jersey Devils, or, he goes to a team that's not great, and hopes that he has a good enough season that someone will throw him a life raft at the trade deadline.
So what you're saying is LeBanc, one of the people who voted for NHL expansion?
Probably.
So with that all said, I think we're about done here. Again, over the next week or so, somewhere in there, we're going to have a season preview for the Sharks. We'll have some sort of divisional preview. And it'll be fun to do because, I mean, some of the previews that came out like 2 months ago was kind of like, it seems a little early. So we're going to try to do it a little closer to what the Sharks actually have. I mean, Aaron fucking Dell got a PTO with the Sharks. So, let's talk about that and pay attention to some of the pricing and everything that has also changed. I heard that today, the Sharks, for the last few years, I think even since before COVID, parking at the tank was $35, and evidently today for a preseason, let me say that again, preseason, the parking has been escalated to $40. All right.
Yeah, I mean that's how it works, right? Yeah, everything goes up in price, and it's like, oh, but inflation's down and the prices don't change. Why? Because the toothpaste never goes back in the fucking tube.
It never goes back in the tube. But my whole thing is, like, if you want people to come to meaningless games, these are meaning in the standings.
Like there's how many people tonight? 9,000.
Well, no.
6,000
9,000 tickets sold.
Okay.
Used, we have no idea, except for Puck Guy. We know Puck Guy used a ticket. Okay,
so but again though, like how much parking is you know what I mean? Like,
oh, Ruben coming in hot. He knows. The hockey games is now 40, concerts are now 50. I'm sorry, that is ridiculous. And I say this as the old guy in the room that that says concerts, parking for concerts is $50. I'm the guy that you could go to a concert, $50 got you a ticket, parking, and a shirt.
Fuck world.
All of that was $50. So now it's $50 just to park your damn car for a concert, but $40 for a hockey game. And again, you're trying to get people in for a preseason game while football is happening, by the way, on a football Sunday, NFL's king, and you're going to charge $40 for parking. Like, maybe for preseason, maybe you say, hey, it's preseason. We recognize it. It's a meaningless fucking game. Like, yeah, okay, there's going to be a couple heads in here that you don't see normally playing, so you can have that. But you're not going to see the full, what's the Star Wars quote? The full arsenal of this Death Star that, you're not going to get the full power. Yeah, the fully functional power. You're not going to get all of that. So we're not going to charge you the full power. Huh?
Celebrity tax in the chat.
I'm telling you. That's it. Oh, the person who just came in out of nowhere to give us a thumbs down. Appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, love it. That's probably okay.
We're here trying to just do our thing, and somebody's going to come in and do that.
It's probably my fault. They're like, no hockey jerk. Fuck this.
That probably, who gave us a thumbs down probably was Hockey Jerk. So with that, this is kind of a little sneak preview of the new Pucknologists for the season. So with that, we're going to bounce. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. I don't think we're going to be here next weekend. Weekend after that, get into our preview shit. And then, of course, it starts.
And then it starts.
Oh, Hockey Jerk's wife evidently also got in there to also give us a thumbs down.
Fuck, man.
Oh, and then it went away. Okay. That's all good. It's fun to just watch the little things. So, anything to talk about between now and the next time we come back on?
Yeah. I don't know. You tell me when to show up and I'll show up. So.
No, but, anything. Do you want to build your brand? This is the moment.
Oh, if you want to see me tweet once a week, maybe, at Ian Vlogs Hockey on Twitter. I'm never calling it X. Fuck that. Elon's Wasteland.
Yeah, Elon's Wasteland, baby. For me, I don't give a shit if you follow me or not. I mean, it's cool if you do, and if you don't, that's fine too. I don't fucking care. Social media is the...
Maybe after November, I'll be more active again. We'll see.
Okay. So, with that, I think we're going to burn it down to the ground here. When is the next game is Tuesday, right?
I believe so. I have not, preseason games, I don't give a shit. Yeah, it is Anaheim for sure.
Yeah, I'm totally right there with you. Could not give less of a fuck. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of like, don't I have something already going on this Tuesday? Like, literally anything else? Like,
yeah, I'm not sure. Again, well, once the real games start, that's when the fun starts. Preseason's fine. It's fun. I'll watch it. It's hockey. I'll never not watch hockey, but I just don't care.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Tuesday. Let me see. What if I got circumcised again? That sounds like that'd be more fun. But no, I'm actually going to the A's game. But anyway,
all right,
it is what it is. So, we can't do a podcast without saying fuck John Fisher. And there you go.
Not local, but he sounds like a real douchebag. So fuck that guy.
Oh, total fuck that guy. So with that, thank you guys so much for joining us here on this Sunday night. Well, we'll be back in some way, shape, or form relatively soon, along with the rest of the crew, be it Jules, Puck Guy, Eric, Felix, Dana. Who am I? Mark. Yeah, I'm trying to give everybody their flowers, their cookies. So with that, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm off to watch John Oliver. Good night, everybody.